Hey guys, what's up? It's Noah, and that means it's Wednesday here at Daily Mail FTM. Our topic this week is going to be sex and relationships. So, just to give you a little bit of background about myself and my current relationship status, I have been in a very serious relationship for almost 2 years now, and yeah, that's going pretty good. So, um, I guess people always say that I have kind of, you know, experienced relationships. Some people don't, some people do. But I can talk to you about how to come out to your partner, how to deal with some of the challenges of being transgender in a relationship with a person who is not. And then later on, we can talk about dealing with the dysphoria during sex, because I know I have a lot, and a lot of other guys do too. So, yeah, that's what we're going to cover this week, and then we'll see what comes next week. So, the first thing that a lot of guys have to deal with is coming out to their partner, or, telling the person that they're romantically interested in, that they identify, as a male and they are transgender, and that can be really scary because a lot of people may not understand it, and if you're really interested in this person, then you're scared of losing them or doing something that will completely just throw the relationship off and you won't have them anymore. At least I know that's what I was afraid of before I told my girlfriend. She identified as like strictly lesbian when I met her, and then I was identifying as a woman, and we started our relationship and everything was fine. But I was uncomfortable, and I knew that she had met some transgender people, and she was friends with some people that identified as transgender. So I wasn't completely worried about telling her, but I was still a little bit afraid because, it's one thing to be friends with somebody, and it's a completely other thing to be, boyfriend or girlfriend with somebody. So, I think I told her through text message. I was a little bit too afraid to have that conversation in person. But it went really, really well. And one of the first memories that I have that really stands out to me and that really makes me super happy is a couple nights after we had this conversation. She was fully supportive, started calling me the right name right away. But the first time I saw her in person after I told her, I was walking her home, and I was expressing my fear of losing her and not being what she wanted because she identified as strictly lesbian. So I was a little afraid, and she was just completely fine with it, and she hugged me really tight and said, "I love you, Noah," and it was one of the best moments ever. So going back to our topic this week, you just have to be really open to talking to your partner or your romantic interest about what's going on. It's very important that you have open conversation about what's going on in your life and what's going on in your partner's life. And if you're feeling like you need to tell them something about your gender or your identity, then you should be, it's going to be scary, and it's going to be like one of the most like nerve-wracking things. But once you get over that step, whether the outcome is good or bad, it's going to be better for you, because if it's good, then you can start a really happy and long relationship. If it's bad, then that person really isn't for you, and you can start looking at other people, and you can start really narrowing down who you want to be with. Because I know that a lot of guys are super afraid of telling people, and it's just like this big thing. It is a big thing, but once you get over the whole coming out to your partner thing, it gets a lot easier. So the second thing was dealing with being transgender in your relationship. In my own relationship, it's kind of a strange kind of struggle because I'm always worried about, what's my partner going to think, and, how do we make all of this stuff work. And my girlfriend is always worried about triggering my dysphoria, or just doing something to upset me. We try not to let that get in the way of, other relationship kind of stuff and being happy, but trans issues sometimes do come up, and the best advice that I can give anybody who's in a relationship about, if things happen or, it gets stressful at times, is just make sure you talk to your partner. Figure out what, they're thinking. Tell them what you were thinking. Everything will, work out if you guys talk about it. Alright, so that was that. As far as relationships are concerned, most important thing is just talk about it. Talk it all out. So, I'm going to move on to sex and the dysphoria and discomforts that people feel when they're having sex. I feel like it's kind of normal for trans guys and transgender people in general to have dysphoria during sex because, usually you're naked when you have sex, and a lot of guys aren't comfortable with their bodies, and that's something I struggle with a lot. One way that I help relieve some of the stress and anxiety about what my body looks like or what's going on is just kind of wear like a loose t-shirt or something. Don't wear your binder. That's not an option. That is not good for your chest, and it's definitely not good for any kind of breathing, so would not recommend. But if you're uncomfortable with seeing your chest while you're having sex or while you're with your partner, then my only and best recommendation for you is to wear a shirt. I know that might suck because, it might get in the way, it's not comfortable, it makes you hot, but sometimes it's just better to cover up the areas you don't want to look at because it helps, relieve some of the dysphoria at least. Another thing is, if you're having sex and you use some kind of strap-on, wear a pair of boxers over it, and just pull it through the front. That's usually what I do. It hides the straps and the harness, so that's something I'm always kind of concerned about because I don't like to look at it. But if you pull it through your boxers, it kind of helps with the thought that, wow, this is just not real, and it's kind of just chilling out in a harness. So I know that a lot of my girlfriend's concerns are doing something to trigger my dysphoria while we're having fun. So the way we get around that is just basic communication. If she does something that I'm not comfortable with, then I just let her know and it stops. Obviously, you should be having, open conversations about these kinds of things with your partner in any kind of sexual situation, whether it's, dysphoria during sex or anything revolving around that. Safe sex is good sex. So, you just have to talk to your partner about what is comfortable and what's not comfortable, where you want them to touch and where you don't want them to touch, because sometimes, dysphoria can be set off by that. But if you tell them and they don't respect what you've said, or they do it anyway, then you might want to consider stopping that relationship with that person, or at least telling them that it's not okay, because if that person's not listening or respecting your wishes during sex or just during everyday life, then it's really probably not a person you should be around anyway. So the main points for, relationships and sex and dealing with any kind of romantic interest or partner is just talk. Just talk about everything that's going on. Whether it's, you're feeling dysphoric one day, or your partner's concerned about saying something wrong, or touching you in, a way that you don't want to be touched, or, anything like that. Just make sure you're communicating to your partner that you do not want that, or you do want that. And, if things don't go the way you want them to, then it's probably a good sign that you should not be with that person. And a better person will come along. So, don't get discouraged if one relationship doesn't work out, or something goes horribly wrong and, things just fall apart. It will get better, and you will find another person that respects your body and respects your, respects what you want them to do, and just respects everything that has to do with your trans identity and, your sexual identity, because that's really the most important. Just make sure that you're with a partner that is respectful. And that's the best advice that I have for you guys. So, I will catch you next Wednesday. And you can like or subscribe and comment, which we highly encourage, because, we're looking to find out some new topics. So if you have any ideas, let us know. And I'll put my links in the box, and have a good rest of the week.